If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Audio Jungle.
Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your Resource for Success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. My name is Kimberly McLemore, and I am your host. With us, we have Amy House, founder of Growin Out Loud, Darlin, and owner of Powerhouse Enterprises. Welcome, Amy. How are you?
I am great, Kimberly. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Well, you are welcome. I'm hoping that we can get through this without too many more issues. I think the internet is going crazy today, so hopefully we can get through it. And if it doesn't sound good, we'll do it. So, I don't want your interview to be like, oh my gosh, she interviewed me and this thing was crazy as all get out. So.
Oh no, that's how business and life works, isn't it? Just a few glitches along the way.
Absolutely. But it is a pleasure having you on, and I'm so looking forward to hearing your story. Just to get us started out, could you please tell the listeners a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So I am a little unusual in that I have a master's degree in counseling and went into private practice, discovered I'm a little like Dr. Phil, which doesn't make your clients love you. You're not as nurturing maybe as you should be. So I kind of discovered that maybe while I wanted to help people, counseling wasn't the way to go.
Okay.
And about 25 years ago, what do you do with a counseling degree? That's kind of a niche, you know? Mm-hmm. I discovered marketing because marketing is basically encouraging people to do a behavior that you want them to do without them realizing maybe that you're getting them to do that. And that's counseling basically is, oh, heck, parenting's the same way, right?
Right.
So I went into marketing, business development, did not have an educational background in that, but just kind of discovered along the way that it was something I enjoyed. And I think the passion for helping people still played a huge part. And I just believe that even in business, you have an unlimited ability to impact people, impact your community, and just be a force for good. And then about 5 years ago, really started looking at entrepreneurship and moving in that direction and started creating some businesses along the side. Mm-hmm. And about 3 years ago, quote unquote, retired myself from my career and have been a full-time entrepreneur since. So that's a little bit about me.
All right. Well, we're going to get a chance to actually dive into that a little more because I want to get a little bit more of a feeling about where you're really from. Are you currently, the area that you're living in now, are you really originally from that area or, before you decided to, and how you got to where you're at today?
Absolutely. So currently live in Boise, Idaho. So we're in the Pacific Northwest part of the United States. I did not grow up here. Moved here 7 years ago from Texas. So you're going to hear that Southern accent now, which is where Growin Out Loud, Darlin just came from. And being in the Pacific Northwest, my Southern accent really stands out here. So for me, it's a marketing, the ability to share that part of who I am is super fun. But no, not from the Pacific Northwest area, but do love it here. Love outdoors, love the four seasons, all of that, and just wide open spaces. And that's kind of what Boise, Idaho is all about. I'm a mother of two grown kiddos. I'm married and have my husband has 4 kids, and between the two of us, we have 10 grandkids. So
wow, somebody's been busy.
and we're warning them, please. There is a way to prevent future grandchildren. It's okay.
Wow, but the thing I think is interesting now, Idaho and Texas, that's a huge difference. That is a huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah, it took like 3 days drive here, and we thought living in Texas driving was
right. Yeah, because it's crazy to drive around it. Oh my gosh, or just to get out of Texas. So.
That's right. So no, we are about as far north as my husband and I have ever been. And living in snow country is a whole experience for us. But we kind of like that at Christmas there's snow, so that's a good thing.
Well, I guess so, because I'm originally from Iowa, so, I mean, there's definitely a difference, but we're used to snow, but I don't think we're ever going to be used to that much snow and that much cold, so, but now I've been in the D.C., outside of the D.C. area now for 12 years, so I don't think I can ever go back to being in that coldness ever again, and feeling that way. It's definitely a different area, so... So, tell me, I guess, explain to me now, you were trying to explain to me earlier about how you actually have your master's degree was in what now?
In counseling, which just for everybody to know, I do not take counseling clients anymore. Okay. And at parties, please don't ask me to, help your marriage or anything like that. I used to get that a lot at parties. People always want to tell you their personal stuff, and you're like, I'm just here to have a good time. So, but yeah, that's my background. That's what I went to school to be. So,
well, but having the counseling, even though that's not something that you prefer to do now, I still believe that it helps, with the business and to a certain degree about how you, analyze people, because we all do it as business people. But when you have that little special extra that you can kind of rethink or, how you want to handle your conversations and then with the business that you're doing, I think it helps a little bit. Maybe. I
think it helps a lot. I think in this day and age of social media, even being able to, through another medium, be able to engage someone in a positive way, and not take what they're doing on the other side personally, that's about them. And that's really what a counseling situation is about. Anyway, a counselor doesn't own what the client comes in with. And so you learn very quickly that when other people respond or when other people have an opinion, it's not about you. It's about their needing to share with you something and giving them kind of the grace to do that too. So.
Right. Absolutely. So tell me, how did you actually get inspired to do the business you're in? And then talk to me a little bit about what does Powerhouse Enterprises do beyond the show, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Absolutely. So we started out in 2009, kind of playing around with some things. 2009 and 10 for most of us, we remember it was a financial downturn. And I was regional vice president for the National Kidney Foundation. And the way most nonprofits at that time survived that period was they did some significant downsizing. So I was part of a major nationwide downsizing that happened in 2010. It was happening all across the nonprofit genre. And so one of the things that I began to do is do webinar trainings on, now that you have a small staff, or you've got a board of directors that they're struggling in their own careers and they're not as focused on your nonprofit. How do you lead? How do you recoup from this? How do you strengthen your strategy? How do you serve more people with less? And basically started marketing those to smaller nonprofits across the United States that were facing that, giving executive directors maybe some tools some 30,000-foot view of how to restructure some things to survive an economic downturn. And that was kind of my first playground with going into business for myself. Since then, what Powerhouse Enterprises as a whole kind of is a conglomerate of my speaking business. Growing Out Loud, Darlin, is my business coaching business. I have a network marketing business, and then my husband and I also own a real estate portfolio. So Powerhouse Enterprises, we work from the idea, which I think most people do and understand, that multiple streams of income, creating that and creating leverage from work you do is critical. And that's kind of what we've created with Power Enterprises, and will continue to develop with that. The Growin Out Loud Darlin part of it is my business coaching, business strategist, business where people have hired me to be their coach to get through a launch. Or maybe, for instance, I currently have a client who's an attorney who's transitioning her brick and mortar law practice into an online format.
Okay.
And so it's coaching people that are making a their business, but they just need that little bit of support, or maybe extra size that's taking a look at what's going on and making suggestions. So that is kind of in a nutshell what Out Loud does and what Powerhouse Enterprises as a whole is.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. I like the concept of how you guys are doing everything. So, and the thing I really love about the Growing Out Loud, Darlin, I like the fact that, like you said, you're using the counseling with you're giving need versus what, a whole package of everything that they don't need. And I think that's important, because in business, a lot of times, people have the expertise, but it's always that little extra that we don't always know. And then if you can just give them that little bit of piece, that's what makes them even more special and unique. And I like that concept that you provide. Now, talk to me a little bit, though. When you decided to get inspired to do this, was it just because of the fact that you were kind of, things were downsized, times were changing a little bit, was the main reason, or did you just realize that you had a niche of something that was going to be powerful for you after coming out of being a counselor and realizing, hey, that's just not what I want to do more? What really made you grasp onto this?
Well, really when I left the counseling profession and went into business and developed business and marketing for nonprofits specifically. I've had some corporate background as well, but really the nonprofit background. I loved it, and I probably would have still been there. I mean, I was working a career ladder plan within the nonprofit world. But then 2009 happened. And I think you really step back and take a hard look at, what am I doing? What am I creating? Who am I creating it for? What impact do I want to have? And you start going, maybe I'm not as effective, or I'm not having the impact that I want to have. Or maybe this is not the mechanism. And I think sometimes when we have those moments in our careers that shake us a little bit and make us stop for the first time, maybe start going, there's other options. There's other ways of seeing this. Right. So while, 2010 was a job layoff for me, it was, now how do I turn what I know into something? Nobody's hiring, certainly not hiring an older woman at a higher pay grade. That wasn't happening at that time. So how do you readjust? And to really be honest, I started thinking of my career in terms of, what did I love to do and what did I never want to do again?
There you go. Exactly.
What did I never ever want to put up with again, and what absolutely lit my fire I was excited to do. And I think that's where the training piece started out. That's where the webinars started happening, and the strategy of how do you take what you have and switch it and utilize it and reorganize it into something else. Those were things I loved. And so that webinar, those first webinars that I did and marketed, that was the first light bulb moment of, hey, maybe I could do this. Maybe there's a different way of making an income and living life. And while I did take a few side jobs for a couple of years before I really kind of fully stepped into entrepreneurship, I think for me it was the shake of, I was certainly raised in a family where you went to college and you got a job and you worked the job you moved up the corporate career ladder. No one in the family, in fact, they all thought I was crazy when I said, I don't think I'm going to go back to a full-time job ever. You would have thought I had told them I was going to go rob a bank. But they're like, you're going to do what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to work from home in my pajamas. And they're like, nobody does that. I'm like, yeah, actually, people do. So that's, for me, the spark. How do you take what you know? And then how do you take what you love and merge those things together to create businesses that you get up every morning and it doesn't matter if there's an obstacle or a challenge. You are excited to take that on. So that, for me, was a game changer, a career changer, and a life changer. And really, for me, that's what entrepreneurial situations are. They're game changers and they're life changers. So I'm excited to talk group.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, sometimes those, as we consider what might have been a tragedy at that point where, you're like, God, I've lost my job, after all these years, but taking that opportunity and doing something positive. And that's what you've done. You said it gave you time to really sit down and reanalyze who you are, what you were doing. Do I want to go back to this lifestyle again? Can I move into doing something else that's going to make me feel better about me, but also be able to provide something for someone? And then when you kind of tested those waters, that's usually, like you said, what kind of wakes you up on the inside. And, listening to your story, it's something that, all of us entrepreneurs, I think, go through, is realizing that I don't want to do this anymore, and right. I'm still going through that same process of, okay, let me get up out of here. I'm still working a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just slowly but surely trying to maneuver my way permanently back out here into the world of entrepreneurship, because that's usually how that process works. But I just love what you're telling me in your story, because that, taking the knowledge that you already have and what you have learned and giving it to other people in a way to where you can get paid and be able to have the lifestyle that you want, that's what entrepreneurship is all about. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely a perfect way to be inspired. I mean, there's no other way to inspire yourself, but hey, I need to make money and I need to do it fast. So,
and what begins to happen is things begin to pop up that you might not have considered. Like, I remember the first time I was asked to coach someone in business, I thought, coach someone in business. And then
like, what?
I go back to the whole quote that says, just say yes and figure it out afterwards. Okay, right. Yes, absolutely, I'll do that. And then, what do you charge? And you go, well, how does this sound? Okay. And you're like, oh, heck, I think I just got hired. And so those first few clients, bless their hearts, that I actually coached, very different career fields, very different businesses, but it was that moment of, this is where that counseling background comes in. Now this is the merger between my business skills, my marketing background, and this. And that's where Growin Out Loud, Darlin kind of came from. It was not the first business that I created. It was one that kind of came along as time went on. And I think as entrepreneurs, you need to be open to that. These are my skills, these are my strengths, these are my passions, and when an opportunity presents itself, it's like the perfect storm of all of it, you say yes to that.
Yeah.
Figure out how to.
Absolutely. So talk to me, though, a little bit about the challenges, though, because every business has them. And with you going through all the transitions you did, what was probably one of the hardest that you had to face, and are you currently still going through a process of challenges that you would, definitely want to be able to improve on, or, or just things that you're constantly facing as a business person?
I think for me, and probably a challenge that I also see within my coaching clients, is we all know that the magic area of creation and business growth is when we are just slightly outside our comfort zone. The problem is we are by default saying stay within our comfort zone because that's our area of strength. So how do you push yourself? How do you put yourself to that level, and how do you know you're there? And I always tell my coaching clients the best way to know that they're in out of their comfort zone is it feels just slightly out of their control. Just a little bit of chaos is happening, and they almost wonder, can I manage it? Taking one step in front of the other, and they get there. But as long as they kind of just feel like they're just a little bit into the chaos zone, that's the area. The problem with that is that you still want to default back into the comfort zone. So for me, I have found that I have to periodically, I hire my own business coaches. Hey guys, let me hire you for the next 9 months. I'm working on a major project. It's going to push me, and I need to hold me accountable to that. And I find that a lot of people, when they hire a business coach, that's exactly what they're doing. They know that they're needing to hold their feet to the fire, so to speak. They're needing to stay in that level of chaos because that's where they need to be, and they need someone to hold them accountable to be there. So for me, and I think for just about anybody else, and I know as a woman too, anytime we experience chaos, and right now going into the holiday season, there are women all across America that are going, I got to work, run a business, I got kids and family, and it's the holidays, and this chick is telling me to get into the chaos zone. I'm already there.
Right. He's like, wait a minute now. It's like, you're supposed to be coaching us into something better or worse, right?
But that really, for me, is, someone was asking me the other day, so are you backing off before, to celebrate the holidays going into the new year? I'm like, no, this is the optimal time for me to do something creative. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, when things are crazy, I get more done. I just get hyper focused. I know where I'm going, but there's this level of chaos that's kind of just swirling around, and it feels just a little bit beyond my control, but that's the magic zone. And I think for most of us, if we learn to capitalize on that chaos and utilize it to our benefit, that's really our magic area. So it's still the place that I have to push myself, and it's still the place that I know that sometimes I don't push myself, which is why I'll hire a business coach to push me into different things. It's why people hire me, them. So that's the magic zone, and that's probably my biggest obstacle, both for myself and the way I see my coaching clients have as well. So, because we like to be in control.
But it's actually a very interesting concept. I never thought of that. Thinking that how chaos, to some degree, is what makes you run. I mean, it is what we use, but to use it in the manner that you use it, that's a very interesting concept. Because some days I'm like, I just want to run away from all this chaos. So I'm like, no, don't bring me anymore. Okay. I can't deal with it right now. So, but you're right. I love how you utilize that. When you realize that you're in a zone and things have to be taken care of in order to keep yourself accountable, I really like the fact that you will use your coaching by, bringing on a coach into a different perspective for you. And I think that is awesome, because being a coach, sometimes you're not always going to be able to catch yourself. But when somebody else makes you accountable, then you can see some of the things that, yep, I got to do this, I got to do that. And that's what's going to make me keep my feet to the fire in order to finish up what I said I was going to do for my client. So I definitely appreciate that concept and like how you utilize that, knowing that, hey, this is that season of chaos. I know these are the things I got to do. So let me hurry and bring this person on board now before I go overboard.
That's right. Help me push till about February, and then when it kind of calms down, I'm good to go for a while. But yeah, I think we all need that feedback. Feedback, when we learn to utilize it in a positive way, is probably the best tool, the best mechanism for you to strengthen your business, to strengthen your habits, to strengthen every piece of your life. Feedback can be powerful when you're getting the right people. And I think knowing who to invite into that inner circle, whether it's a business coach or a life coach or your spouse or your best friend, knowing who to bring in when you need them to, and go, no, look, really, I really need you to be direct. I need you to tell me the truth.
Right.
So that I can really make adjustments and do what I need to do so that I keep moving forward in a positive way. And I think we all need that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. Look, I may have to bring you on board as my coach, because I've been still looking for somebody that can, beat me down a couple more times, tell me stop, Well, and you're right, because even though I've been in business for many years, but then I took this particular business and wanted to vamp it in a way where, I could utilize the social media platforms, have this great podcast show and all of that, things that I would have never done 20 years ago, and it's so different when you're basically standing in front of people and just talking to them all the time and teaching them in different formats. And of course, today, with the world we live in, everybody wants to, use the technology. Everybody wants to be on videos and all this type of stuff. But it's always been one of the things that I've been looking for, that, hey, I need to have a coach. And I'm just now really been focusing on that since I've been doing this almost 2 years with the newer revamped business, I call it. That I'm like, okay, I've got all these pieces now. Now it's time to start putting those pieces together and molding them in a way where somebody from my outside world can see me and can say, yeah, you know what, you need to sit down somewhere and do this the right way, because this is not going to work, And so it's always, I think you're right. It's always important to have that good feedback. And I feel like I'm being criticized because, when you're closest to some of the people that you work with, you always feel like, okay, well, why are you criticizing me?
Right.
And, and even though they're not, it's still, but when you have a person who understands business in a certain way, then being coached in that way makes it a little bit simpler, and it will, like you said, keep your feet to the fire and make you move forward in a different direction, but in a positive way that's going to benefit you and yourself as well as your business. So, like I said, I had to keep you in my back pocket somewhere, Amy.
Absolutely. Would love to. Love to.
Yeah. So, after you get done with your chaos in February, I had to come by and see you. That's right. That's right. Yes, absolutely. So if there was a woman who wanted to come and talk to you right now about business, what advice would you give them?
Here's what I would give them. I would say that you're going to have to take the lead and probably be willing to create opportunities for yourself. Opportunities don't come and knock on your door, you go knock on their door. And I think one way that I've done that, and one way that I coach my clients to do that, is that traditional networking, as we all know and hate it, doesn't work for the modern entrepreneurial woman. She needs a group of supportive people that are really relationship building and collaborators. And usually we have to create that for ourselves. So I have utilized my social media to create both online virtual networking as well as local networking. And what I mean by that is that I reach out to women either in my local area or extended area, have a networking phone call, because most of us, let's be honest, don't have time to have coffee 10 times a week.
That's right.
And then I do what I call virtual lunch for women who are out of state that I want to build a relationship with, to know their businesses, be a referral partner, maybe a collaborative educator with them. We do virtual lunch through Zoom. We sit at our desks, we turn on Zoom, we talk and chat as if we're sitting at a restaurant and everybody has their brown bag lunch. And then I do that locally. I will just text out invitations. I'm going to be at this restaurant on this day. Come have fun. I need someone to help me pick out a paint color for my bathroom. And I'll have 10 or 15 business women show up for lunch. Wow. And you talk about everything from menopause to what you're buying your kids for Christmas, and you get to know each other as women, and the business relationships come from there. Those situations don't exist. You have to create them. That's and right. I think every businesswoman has to look at her business and say, what do I need most? Who do I need to be in contact with? And how do I make that happen? And they need to take the lead and create them for themselves. While some networking groups are great, and there are those great ones out there, for the large majority of people, we just don't have time for that kind of commitment. And so taking the lead and creating what you need for your business, that's step one.
Okay. You know what? I like that. I love the virtual lunch. I might steal that one from you. Maybe I'll do a virtual tea instead. I like that idea. That's actually really good. I was like, that sounds
everybody
really good.
At 10 a.m., get your coffee, get on Zoom, you get to see everybody's face, and you have a good time and you laugh. But it's a more strategic use of your time, and it provides benefit them too, because they're needing to make collaborative relationships. Why not be in leadership role on that in your business and in your business network? Be that person, be that creator that sets you apart. And that's really what you want in your business. You want to be set apart.
You're right. Absolutely. And that's one thing that what I have tried to create with the Women's Small Business Initiative is that it's an online platform, because as you say, we don't have time to constantly go out and sit down and network, being at every event. It's just impossible because you can't get any business conducted that way if you're constantly sitting in somebody else's environment trying to meet people all the time. So that having an online platform provides that capability where you can, like I said, have those chat sessions, do those forums, build those rapport from people all across the country versus always just the people in your backyard, as I always say. So, your concept is right on point. I just love the way how you have pushed it to a certain level to where, like you said, hey, I'm having lunch. I'm going to text these few people, come join me. I mean, I think that's really cool, but I love the virtual piece because as we all know, and as we just discussed, the fact that you can't be everywhere all the time.
No, you cannot. And I think what you do is unique because those kind of situations don't exist. I mean, when you look at most of the traditional models, still go to this location, it's 30 people,
and
you
can't get to all 30 people. There's no way possible. Oh, I do it because we still, you still obviously want to be out there doing those network events. But I think every time I go to one, I'm lucky if I get to maybe 2 to 5 people, because if you're really trying to spend time getting to know them and you want to express and enhance about your business, and obviously you can't just talk about yourself, you have to learn to listen to the other individuals. Well, you've already expanded 10, 15, 20 minutes per person, because you're trying to engage whether or not you can actually do any business with that person, if there's any type of a good fit period on anything, or how can I refer this person to somebody else. And so, I think that's been probably the biggest challenge that I found with people, that they still do not understand how to use the online platform and then utilize it for the best of their business. That they don't have to always constantly sit up there. You don't have to always do videos. You can you can do the forums, you can do the online chatting, you can do all these things that are robust right here on the platform. But, as they always say, you can bring the water drink, that horse to that water, but you can't make them drink it per se. So it's still, the concept is I guess is still somewhat new to people, but you are absolutely right when it comes to going certain directions of trying to network with people. You have to be creative, because not everybody, you can't be there for everybody, and they can't always come to you. So definitely love that.
I think there's something about women that when we know, like, and trust each other, the business relationship is all the stronger and all the better. Yep. And there's something fun about watching a group of women who do not know each other sit down at lunch and suddenly discuss what is typical in a woman's life, and they all bond together. Whether it's they pull out paint, steps from their purse, or they're, hey, I'm having this obstacle at work, or whatever it is, and suddenly they bond together as this group of sisters,
Right,
and
right.
It is this amazing thing to watch, but it happens online as well. You don't have to physically be present with someone to develop that rapport with them and build that relationship. That's the power of social media. And if we use it well, and we know who we want to connect with, what we're wanting to build for our own businesses, the value we can give to other people, and using that tool can be an asset. But women that take charge of that and be active in that leadership role in their own lives and businesses, their businesses grow faster.
I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. And, you're right, because it gets to the point where, I think the social media platforms are nice to have, but you can't keep constantly reaching out to the same people. And bottom line is, you're not going to get the same effect over and over and over, because they're like, okay, well, here this person comes again asking for something else. You're wearing out your circle, and then you're really not able to see who it is that you can actually connect with, because you're trying to reach out to 5,000 other people that are connected to you that you don't even know.
Right.
So
that's right.
And so it's learning, all of these and understanding what it is that you need to do to reach out to the right person, to make those proper connections so that you can see your business grow. And the bottom line is, we're not going to get everybody, but like I said, the ones that you do connect with, you're definitely going to have something in common. And that's the reason why you do connect. And like I said, when women do figure it out, it becomes explosive once we can figure it out.
That's right.
So
That's right.
absolutely some excellent advice. So one other piece of advice I would like for you to give. Could you please tell everybody how they can get a hold of you?
Absolutely. So they can get me through my website, which is www.growinoutloud Darlin, or they can find me on Facebook, or you can email me at powerhouseamy@gmail.com.
All right. That is awesome. And again, I want to thank you for taking out your busy schedule to spend some time with me all the way from Idaho. I'm so excited. I'm excited because, when people hear me say Iowa, they think I'm saying Idaho. I'm like, no, we don't grow potatoes. I mean, we do, but
and
corn.
People say, where are you from? And I say, well, I live in Idaho. They're like, oh, corn. I'm like, no,
Right.
potatoes.
So see, you have the same problem I have. So now we can get people to understand, no, your potatoes were corn. I was like, I wonder if you guys went through that same process. I'm like, no, I didn't say potatoes. I didn't say Idaho. I said Iowa. There is a difference. So that's funny. But anyway, like I said, I do appreciate you taking your time coming on with us. Do you have any last words to share with the listeners?
No, I just want to encourage each and every woman that's listening to your podcast to keep following. You're an asset to the female entrepreneurial group, and guys, just find that magic zone and be willing to take charge of your business, and I promise you, it explodes in a positive way.
Absolutely. Again, that is awesome. Thank you for coming on again and sharing your story. For everyone else, we are here every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can follow us on Spreaker and absolutely can listen to us there as well. And you can find us at www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. You can also find us at the new WSBI website. You can find that there. Find us at www.wsbillc.com. Also visit us at Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. But until next time, you all have a good evening.